want to hear you. How far are you patriotic? What are the things that you will need to do? At this moment, we have Femi Fani Kayode from Nigeria. Hello, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are welcome to a special program of You Decide. We are on air live worldwide. Yes, sir. What's the position going on in Nigeria?
Well, the position in Nigeria is that the situation is, in my view, quite tense.
Okay.
People are not happy, and there are deep concerns about the position that our government has taken regarding the issue of the removal of the oil subsidy. That's the position.
The government has just said that they will buy 1,600 buses. Fast forward salary day to 20th January. They said the Christopher Colladi board will be alleviating the problems and ensure that the subsidy removal is reinvested. What are your reactions to this?
Well, I think these are most insulting assertions and empty promises. Even if they were to implement them, it does not mean that it will alleviate the suffering of the people in any way. It's like giving an aspirin to a cancer patient, as far as I'm concerned. People are suffering in this country. Almost 90% of Nigerians are living below the poverty line. Our money has been completely cleared, spent by these people. The debt that had been cleared in 2007 has returned. We're now owing to the tune of $41 billion. In 2007, we weren't owing anything. They have spent all the money in the excess crude account, just $23 billion. I mean, the story is just a catalogue of woes. We had $80 billion savings as of 2007. Today, our savings are down to $33 billion. I'm talking about the foreign reserves. We're now down to $33 billion. And now, most important of all, and this is what a lot of people need to put this question to the ambassador over there, or to the minister, or to the president himself. This year alone, an extra 1 trillion naira was spent on subsidies. 1 trillion. In 2006 to 2007, 1 year, we spent 300 billion when we were in power on subsidies. In the year 2011, 1.3 trillion has been spent on subsidies. The question is, where did that money go? What were they subsidizing with the extra 1 trillion naira that they spent this year? Now that's the main issue for me. Quite apart from that, let us be rest assured of one thing, and it has already started happening. Prices have doubled and tripled in the oil sector. That is to say, petrol, diesel, kerosene, and things like that. By this time next week, the trickle-down effect will get down to foodstuffs and everything else that touches and concerns life, which means that in about 2 weeks from now, Nigerians can expect doubling of prices in virtually every sector when it comes to food, when it comes to transport, when it comes to everything touching and concerning their life. That is the New Year's gift that our president has given our people, and that is a gift that was forced on him by the IMF, because the MD came to Nigeria just a few days ago and told him that this is what he needed to do in order to carry favor with the rest of the world. And their agent in Nigeria, Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala, was more than ready to prosecute that policy, insist on that policy, and then have the effrontery to say that if the president dared to reverse the policy, she would resign. I think this is a tragedy. I think it's the beginning of something new in Nigeria, and the fact that somebody was killed the other day simply for protesting, a young man in Ilorin, simply for protesting and saying that enough was enough. I think we're on the downward spiral, and I sincerely hope the Nigerian people will rise up and say enough is enough, and ask for this thing to be changed.
Sir, you were a minister, you are a former minister, aren't you? Were you in the same cabinet with Okonjo-Iweala while you were minister?
I most certainly was.
And
I was in the same cabinet as her.
And how will you now react to her? Because you were in the same cabinet, you had the same collective responsibility.
No, there's no collective responsibility. I left government 4 years ago. I'm not in this government. I'm not in their cabinet. I've opposed some of their policies from day one. As a matter of fact, I'm not even in the PDP anymore, so you cannot bring the toga of collective responsibility to me. If I was in the cabinet or the government, that would be a different matter. Thankfully, I am not, and if I were, I would have resigned simply because I wouldn't be in a government or a cabinet that inflicts pain on the people, unnecessary pain.
Sir,
and as regards...
Sir, as a very enlightened Nigeria, to what extent is the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are pushing this idea? To what extent are the Western powers?
Listen to me very carefully.
Yes, sir.
Take this to the bank. The IMF under Lagarde,
yes,
are the people that are dictating policy to the Nigerian government today. It is dictation. It's not a question of persuasion anymore. When we were in power, they tried to do the same to us, but we played it very carefully. We played it very well. We played them at their own game, and we made sure that they cancelled our debt and we paid it off. They couldn't believe that any African nation could do that. We played within the rules, we exercised fiscal discipline, and we managed to clear the debt. They didn't like that, so they had no choice. And Okonjo-Iweala, I must tell you, was very instrumental in that because she was under the control and direction of President Obasanjo. She wasn't running the economy of the country, Obasanjo was, and he was using her. Now, today is the reverse. She's the one running the economy of this country. She's the one running this country. The president is too weak to control her, and this woman is literally a disciple and an apostle and a prophetess of the temple of IMF and the World Bank. And all she does is implement their policies to the letter. And the IMF and the World Bank, their ultimate intention is to impoverish third world nations, to pull them down, crush the people, enslave them, and ensure that they're in debt in perpetuity. That is their agenda. They've never done any good anywhere in the world.
Yes, sir. I have one concern. I have one concern. It looks like the organized labor in Nigeria have believed that if they start a demonstration, the International Criminal Court will be watching, the United Nations will be watching, NATO will be watching, and therefore they can always intervene like they did in Libya if there should be mass shooting and mass killing. I don't think that will be the case. If the Western world is backing Jonathan, they will turn the other eye as they turn the eye in Syria.
Let me assure you,
yes, sir,
whether the Western world, whoever it may be, is concerned about our plight or not concerned about our plight, we have to take our destiny into our own hands, and we have to stand up and say no. It doesn't matter what they think or do. If Labour stands firm, civil society stands firm, the political class that are against this whole initiative stands firm, even within the ruling class, with many of us are within the ruling class that are against this, people like El-Rufai and a number of others, we are against this. Okay, and it goes across party lines. If we can all stand firm, they cannot kill us all, they cannot jail us all, they cannot hold us down forever. And remember what Martin Luther King once said, if you're not ready to die for something,
you will die for nothing.
You're not going to live for anything. You understand?
Yeah.
You have to be ready to take the bull by the horns and take your destiny into your own hands. Well, I think this is the time.
One more question, sir. One more question, sir. We also observe at this time in Nigeria, Boko Haram asking the southern Christians to leave the northern part, and we have seen already that Ndigo, the mass of, asked all the Igbos to stay where they were, whereas the OPC is asking the Yorubas to leave the north. Now we see contradiction moving, and is this not, are these things not ingredients for military intervention or things like that, or chaos of mayhem dimension we may never know the end?
As far as I'm concerned, this president and this government will be squarely responsible, if anything, onto what happens, because it is left to them to ensure that the lives and property of people are safe in the north and indeed everywhere in the country. Where there is insecurity, where there is poverty, where there is repression, and where people are suffering and are being punished and tortured by their own government that they elected, anything can happen in that situation. I sincerely hope and pray that this government and this president rise up to the challenge of the day and do something to help the Nigerian people by reversing this godless policy and allowing people to benefit from the God-given gift that they've been given, that is oil, in this country, rather than cause it to suffer. I pray that there is no intervention from the military, but I sincerely believe that where there is insecurity and where things begin to fall apart, it becomes a very dangerous situation.
And one more thing, sir. Thank you very much for coming. But one more thing, what will you be telling Nigerians who have taken permit from the Metropolitan Police tomorrow to go to the Nigerian High Commission to demonstrate? What is their message to them? They are listening right now.
They are the ones that are carrying our flag to the world. They are the ones that are telling our message to all men of goodwill throughout the planet tomorrow. And I urge them to stand firm. I urge them to tell the world what we're going through in this country. This is not about PDP, ACN, or anything. We are all in this together. Members of the leadership and members of the followership. We must salvage our country. And they are the ones who will be able to stand firm in a country that respects democracy like the UK and tell the world of what we're going through. And let the world know that we will not go back. No matter what they do to us, we will stand firm and fight for the rights of our masses and our working class people. I'm very proud of them. I'm very happy with what they're doing, and I wish to encourage them. I wish them the very best tomorrow. And if the ambassador comes there, they should tell him to resign and go back to his minister, go back to Nigeria, and go and tell his president to change the policy.
Thank you very much, former Minister Femi Fani Kayode. We've been very much blessed by your intervention, and we hope to call you in future. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, for the benefit of our viewers, Ben Television will be roving about tomorrow and taking shots and possibly interviewing people. Ben Television will definitely be involved in taking all the shots that we might report back to you throughout tomorrow. So watch out. Well, that was from Nigeria, from former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani Kayode. We have heard everything he had to say. Nigeria is geared, but however, all Nigerians are just praying for peace. We don't want anybody to die, but then there must be people who are acting, who must listen to Nigerians. If you go out to demonstrate tomorrow, please be peaceful about it. We have to go on break right now, and we shall surely be back. You don't go away while I go away, because you decide.